let's get rid of some of this background noise because I have a story to tell you guys. Yesterday, something I didn't talk about in my clips last night, I had a listing presentation in Palm Jumeirah, which is a more expensive area in Dubai. I had this person message me on LinkedIn a while back talking about the fact that his dad has a penthouse that he's thinking about selling. I set up the appointment with the son to go meet up with the dad yesterday at 4 o'clock. So I showed up to the lobby where I was supposed to meet the dad, and he didn't show up. I was there till 4:30. He didn't know I was coming. I waited. Security kept bugging me, being like, what the heck are you doing here waiting? Because this is, again, a more expensive area, right? So eventually I told him what the story was, who I was supposed to meet up with, and I didn't know the unit number. And they told me which unit it was, and they gave me the okay to actually go upstairs and ring the doorbell, which I did. And this gentleman opened up the door. I don't know if he just wasn't notified by his son, or if he had just forgotten that he was meeting me yesterday. But he was super nice. He invited me in and we sat down. I told him why I was there. Shortly after, he told me that I wasn't getting the listing because he's already got 3 other agents working on the listing. Now in Dubai, things are a little bit differently. You can have up to 3 agents listing your property for sale, whereas in Canada, you only have 1. You usually sign exclusively with 1 agent. So since he had already signed with 3 agents, there was no more room for me, unfortunately, which is okay. I wasn't gonna say, okay, goodbye. Dubai is all about connections, especially if you walk into someone's property in a penthouse in Palm Jumeirah. You don't just leave. You still gotta sell yourself because they probably own other properties. They might have other things that you might be interested in. And yeah, so I sat down, I got comfortable basically. So I did my whole pitch anyway. I told him about myself, how I got here, what I've done. And then I asked him about his life, what he's done, the kind of business he does for a living. Saw some balloons around the unit, so I asked about that. His son is actually expecting a baby soon. So long story short, we had a good conversation for about 30-40 minutes. And then he asked me if I had more time. And I said, yes. And then he said, do you mind coming upstairs? And I know what you're thinking, but it wasn't that, thankfully. He actually had his office upstairs, and we went upstairs, and he did a whole presentation for me for about 40 minutes. He told me the 2 major businesses that he's involved in, and the fact that even though they've hired and they've expanded and they have like over 100 people for each business, none of them have the qualities that I do, based on the 1-hour conversation that he had with me. Now, I'm not saying this because I'm bragging or whatever, but like yesterday was a good time. Like imagine sitting there with someone, high net worth, within an hour, they're telling you like you're hard to come by. And he was ultimately pitching the businesses to me because he's like, I would love to have you involved in any of these ventures because you remind me of what I was when I was younger. You have that actual business mind, whereas everybody else that we hire follows orders. You got the creative mind. You can get things done. And he was like, he's like, genuinely, I don't know how you're 30 and you know all this stuff, based on what I was telling him, because he was questioning me. It was kind of like an interview. And he's like, I'm very impressed because usually the type of knowledge, the kind of path, like train thought is expected in people in their 40s. I was like, okay, thank you. Now, mind you, Buddy doesn't even have a cell phone. He does, but he just does texting. That's it. No social media, no Wi-Fi, no nothing. So obviously, I had a little bit of value there. But you know what? Why don't I multitask? I'm going to try and wash my dishes while I record the rest of this. Hopefully we can pull this off. Okay. Anyway, so I started, like, I went to meet up with this guy at 4 o'clock. I left his apartment at 7. And it was a good time for me. I learned a lot. He obviously provided me with a lot of tips and tricks and wisdom that I really appreciate. And he grabbed my number and he said that we're gonna be meeting up soon to do some business together. Now, even if that doesn't happen, this connection alone is worth it. Like the return on investment, which is the 3 hours I put it, is definitely worth it. Even if me and him never do anything together, like I don't get involved with any of the businesses that he's got, if I need something and I reach out to him, I'm sure he will do something because I made an impression. And this is one of the main reasons I am here in Dubai. It's not just to sell real estate, it's to meet the people who see my potential, and it's also to meet other people who have who don't have the same limitations as most people did in Canada. In Canada, like the way we are raised and brought up, and I guess because of the lack of opportunity, you've put this ceiling in your head where you're like, yeah, I can't do that, I won't do it, it's not worth it, right? Whereas in Dubai, everybody's got an open mind, the sky's the limit. So all I need is like 4 or 5 people with a similar mindset as myself, so we can build multiple businesses. And not just businesses, it's not just about money. Life is not just about money. But I'm just saying, I'm really looking forward to the type of people I'm gonna meet here, and the friends that I'm gonna make, and yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh, so yes, this gentleman was actually retired, and everything else that he's currently doing is like a hobby for him, which is where I would like to be. I don't want to be working because I need the money. I want to be working because I just want to work. I like doing what I'm doing, and you get to enjoy it a lot more when you're not forced to make money. So how did he get there? He had built 3 separate businesses, and he sold all 3 of them for really, really good money. Right now he's thinking about getting involved. Actually, I think that's it. That's all I'm gonna share, because the rest of it might be confidential and I don't want to get in trouble. What else is on the agenda for today? I'm meeting with the Mock Developments. They're actually picking me up today at 4 o'clock. We were scheduled for 12:30, but something came up and they told me that we are going to do 4 o'clock instead. They're gonna drive me to different sites. They're gonna show me around, which is super nice of them, and I really appreciate that. And I'm definitely gonna remember the extra effort they're putting in compared to some of the other reps that I'm dealing with right now. Depending on what time I get back, maybe around 6 o'clock, I'm gonna jump in the pool. I'm not a pool guy, but I was thinking, no, you know what? Let me get out there. So, ooh, it's hot. So once I get back around 6 o'clock, I'm gonna jump in that pool. I don't know what that person is thinking. She's getting roasted. It's way too hot to be out right now. Although I am thinking about going out shortly. I'm just gonna get some things out of the way. I have to get some gas in the car. Something I have to figure out is, yes, they bring gas to your car wherever it is, and they don't charge you for delivery. But what I noticed is that on the app, you only have like the highest levels of gas that you can choose from. Not the cheapest that I'm used to, and not the cheapest that you're supposed to put in cheap rentals. So I'm gonna see what the difference is and whether or not I'm struggling with this door. Whether or not it's worth it for me to actually go to the gas station once a week or so, or if I should just order the gas to my car. Tomorrow we're going to the office that I'm going to be working at. This is actually my first day at the main office. For the past week I've been at the other office, the other location they have, because that's where training was happening. Anyway, let's do an outfit check. I'm a little more casual than usual. Got this shirt on and just like, I don't know what you call these, joggers. Yeah, joggers. And I'm gonna put on a pair of Yeezys. Not that color, probably brown.